It shook me, eh? I'm just carrying on a bit. You're an animal. Whether you are watching us on YouTube or listening to us on your favourite podcast platform, welcome back to the Torqhub podcast.
My man.
We are back.
Just like we said we'd be back. Did we not say?
Didn't say when.
Welcome back to the Torqhub podcast. How you doing, my dude?
Good, man. It's been a long while. A long while.
Yeah, it has, man. It's been a long while since we've just been able to talk shit.
Or even talk anything.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you.
Nah.
Really.
Things have been on the go, though. We've been flat bicky. Real life is a real bitch sometimes. But making progress. Actually, big news. This is an exclusive that you only get if you're on the potty. Anyone who watches the videos probably doesn't know this. But the daily's fixed, mate.
It is.
350 Ks of silky smooth driving.
Zero nooch bombs.
Give us the rundown, mate.
Well,
so,
it's barely a rundown, really. It's just...
but for those who may have skipped an ep, XR6 Turbo, what happened? Lay it on me.
Stop driving periodically. What is it? Sporadically?
Sporadically, yeah, that's a word.
Electrical. It wasn't mechanical. I put a new transmission in it and a new converter in it, and that didn't fix it. And I'm like, oh great, this is probably electrical, and I don't do electrical.
But then we put new spark plugs in it, didn't fix it.
Yeah,
We put
yeah.
new coils in it, didn't fix it.
Yeah, so I did the box and converter, and then my next thing was, well, the only thing that's left from the original setup was the TCM, and that was what I was going to do next. But then you sort of start getting on the groups, and I even spoke to Rob at Monster Torq, and he said, "No, try these few things first." So we try that, try the plugs, coils, thinking what else it could have been, and then I end up just going, "No, let's just change that to the TCM." So Rob did that for me, done me a solid. I sent him up a spare TCM. It didn't work, so he wrote me. He got another one and wrote me the BF program into it.
Yeah,
loaded
you put an FG gearbox and converter in, so that TCM wasn't going to work.
Yeah, that's right. So I had to change. That was why the original one was in the new box, because it talks to the ECU or whatever.
And the BCM probably.
Yeah, everything. It all talks to each other. You know how it is. So that was really the only bit of the original setup left. And anyway, finally managed to sort it out. And I don't drive it. Like, it sits there. In the last probably year to year and a half, it just doesn't get driven.
Well, especially at the moment because you got a work car.
Yeah, so I've got a work ute. So it's been an absolute mission even to get 350 Ks on the car. I've been like pushing every chance I had. I'm just going to take this for a drive and see if it does it, because I need to know, because it's pissing me off. So anyway, we got it sorted. So thanks to Robert Monster Torq, he done that for me and was very helpful. So
yeah, legend of a bloke too.
Obviously, he knows ZFs.
Well, I mean, 7-second full like street car ZF.
ZF record holder.
Yeah.
So very cool.
Kind of knows a thing or two.
Yeah. So we're on the straight and narrow there.
Nah, good dogs, mate.
Yeah. So
happy.
I'm glad to not be, because it's the unknown, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say, it was pretty stressful for you at the time because you're just starting to throw parts at it, which means you're throwing money at it.
I just fucking hate throwing parts at something. It's not the way to diagnose something. I really like to try and diagnose something properly and go from most likely to least likely. And, probably not with this situation, but there are other situations where you can waste a whole bunch of money and time. Yeah. So.
Which... I mean, you were lucky that you got a deal on that box. Otherwise, like this would have been an expensive exercise for sure. Yeah. I mean, and that sort of almost tells us that the old box that you had probably wasn't busted.
No, it wasn't.
It had a bunch of Ks on it, so it's probably not a bad thing that we changed it anyway.
Yeah, just on just under 250,000 Ks there, 250. So
just run in, mate.
But it hadn't had a hard time, so
no.
It was my wife's car most of its life, and she didn't give it a hard time. So.
And you've had that car since what, 60,000 Ks?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've had it like.
It's been a good car. It owes us nothing now.
Yeah.
I'm still on the original turbo, believe it or not.
Only just.
Look, she's dry. She's dry as, but it's still hanging in there. I'm probably going to change it before it spits it one day.
Yeah.
As I'm driving down the highway.
What do you reckon, cheeky little G35?
That's why I'm not touching it, because I'm not going down that pathway right now.
But you've got the you got the Plazzy intercooler kit?
Yeah. Yeah, just the small one, 800 horsepower kit.
Yeah. And the piping kit.
Blow off valve delete, so she just flutters. So all those people out there that think you have to have a blow off valve on your car, I hate blow off valves.
Yeah.
I never offer it as an option whenever I pipe someone's car up.
Look,
but
unless
usually
you're doing
most people want them. The last probably 4 or 5 setups have all had them on there, but mind you, they've all got a lot better turbos than a factory.
Yeah.
And EF turbo.
And they're like looking to run big boy boost. I mean,
Some of them are, yeah.
Comes a point where if you don't have one and you snap a throttle babe shut, you might bend it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's good news, man.
Yeah, it's just one.
Well, look, it's only been 350 Ks. However, every other fix that we did, it was pretty much within 100 Ks, it refaulted. So, this is looking.
Yeah, this is done. I'm glass half empty on it's done.
I was going to
so
say,
it's 100% done.
You are the most pessimistic motherfucker I know.
Yeah.
And if you're saying it's good, then it's good.
Yeah, it's actually good.
Mate, we haven't done a potty since we did the Pick Your Poison merch drop. That went bananas.
Yeah.
BANANAS. Got to say massive thanks to all you guys who got around the merch drop, particularly the people on our insiders list. Our insiders list alone sold us out of extra large hoodies before they were released to the public. That's wild. And if you're not on our insiders list, I'll put a link in the description so that you can. And it's all you got to do is give us your email. It doesn't cost you a cent. And we don't send weekly emails or like, check out my new video. We'll literally only send you an email when it's something that you need to know.
We're not going to sell their information.
I mean, it depends on how much it's worth.
Yeah, so this could be a good business model here.
Yeah, that's right. No. Not interested in that. But yeah, so the insiders, they did get a 48-hour jump on the rest of everybody else. And that meant by the time they went live, we were already out of XL hoodies. But shout out to our boy Steve-O, who looks after all of our merch. He got us back in action within 7 days. Yeah, which is a pretty good turnaround.
Yeah, he hooked us up really good on this drop.
Yeah,
really looked after us.
For sure.
Yeah, we're super pumped and excited to do some new designs moving forward as well.
Yeah, that's right. We've spoken to him about a bunch of stuff, and we had a look at some of the designs that he's done in the past. That one with the R32 GDR on it, that looked sick, and that's like a really detailed screen print. And if you're not familiar with the process, like it's easy to get a lot of detail on a direct to garment or like a vinyl press, because you're printing it on the vinyl then pressing it onto the shirt. But when you're trying to capture that level of detail with a screen print, when you're literally printing each individual color onto the garment, man, it's pretty impressive what it can pull off.
Yeah, and it's a much higher quality product at the end, as opposed to the DTG or any of that stuff.
Far better longevity in my experience. And I mean, not to blow our own trumpet, but fucking like our shit is good. There's no question. If anyone's purchased any of our merch, they'll tell you it is good quality gear. We pride ourselves on it, and that's all we will continue to be offering.
Yeah, for sure.
For shizzy. I guess, man, it's been a while, so we've got a fair few topics to cover. They'll be in no particular order, however.
This week's hot topic.
That's hot.
Mate, there's a bunch of hot topics. A bunch of hot topics to get through. But we'll just start ticking them off one by one, I guess. This is reasonably recent, but probably still hits heavy for a lot of people in the community. We've lost a great one within the scene, mate. The Haul Us Garage crew would still be seething over it. Rest in peace to Harry Haig, probably one of the most badass street car dudes in the country. Very
in
hard
the world.
Yeah, very hard to question. Very popular, within the States as well, with the Aussie Chevelle sort of doing its thing on Drag Week countless times. And just what a character, man.
Yep.
Like, real character.
Yeah, we never met him,
No.
but you didn't have to sort of to see it come through.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
was definitely a real one.
Yeah, for sure. And you could just sort of tell that he was the kind of fella that, he wasn't waiting for tomorrow. He was living today. And it just goes to show he's still a young man. He certainly wasn't an old man by any stretch. He'd tell you he was an old man, but, in reality, he still had a lot of years left in him. And to be taken too soon in a tragic road accident, it's a very sad thing to hear. So to all of the Haig family, all the Hall House Garage boys and everyone that he's touched, we send our heartfelt condolences because, that's one that's taken too soon for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Tell you what, though, he had some sick cars and some of them were just thrown together on a shoestring. Like, you watch some of the Hall House videos and the shenanigans they get up to in the shed around a couple of beers with a 9-inch grinder at arm's length.
They definitely give some motivation. You can get shit done, hey?
Oh, yeah.
No excuses.
Yeah.
At all.
I don't know what our excuse
Just a
is.
can-do attitude.
Yeah, for sure.
Got those.
And
those
just a
guys.
network as well, like it's just a thing of like, I can make that work. And
Yeah, you can tell he's everyone that you'd want to be around him. If we live close by, we'd want to be around him too.
For sure, yeah. He's a good time guy for sure.
Yeah, looking from the outside in. For sure.
Yeah, for shizzy.
But yeah, that HQ of his, I don't think I would have wanted to drive it.
yeah. No, it needed that.
Probably all the cars they got, maybe except for the Camaro. But
Camaro, yeah.
Gee whiz.
No, you'd need all the horsepower that they've got just to drag his testes down the 1320.
I was going to say he got a big set of agates on him, mate, for sure.
Yeah, man. That Camaro is a sweet looking race car.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame that he probably didn't get to hang around long enough to see it lined out. But I'm hoping that Cordy will sort of grab the torch and run with it, and he'll have a group of people that'll certainly get behind him and get it done.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure they've still got cars in the States and stuff as well. So hopefully that legacy will live on. Did make me think though, the Hall House 1000 was due to kick off next month. I haven't seen any official word. You'd have to think that there's the possibility that it'd be cancelled or postponed. But I wonder if the family and the crew will sort of want to run it on in honour of Harry.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows where everyone's at with that? If not this year, possibly next year in honour of the man. So it's something to think about anyway. Yeah,
for sure. It sounded like a pretty cool event though. Like it was going to be sort of basically like a rural Victorian pub run by the sounds of it. I hadn't looked too deeply into it, but it looked like it was going to be a pretty cool thing. Yeah,
it's pretty cool to think that his memory will live on for a long time yet, which is more than what you can say for a lot of other people in the world.
Yeah, man,
myself included. It's pretty cool that he's made an impact. I mean, we live on the other side of the country. We've never met the guy, and here we are.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it touches you in a way because it can happen to anyone.
Yeah,
just a reminder.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, it's cool to sort of look back, and I saw Street Machine sort of posted up his XR Ute and that the other day as well, and like there's cars and stuff that he's done that you forgot even existed. Like he's done that much cool stuff. So like you say, that legacy is it's well imprinted. 100%. Like and with the internet, like once it's there forever. So there'll be no one missing, that's for sure. Made me think the other day though, I've got this in my notes here. Do you believe in angels?
I don't know. And
I've got a little bit of a story. So I'm not talking about religion or whatever, or like angels themselves, but when people say that it seems like someone was looking down on them or whatever, you just have those little instances. So I've got a little story that sort of made me think of it. And I was doing some wiring and whatever, and I was probably fucking around doing something that I shouldn't have been doing. I had all the circuit breakers in, fuses in, and I'm sort of swinging some wire around in a very tight space where I'm kind of working blind and there's just live terminals fucking everywhere. I couldn't get this wire fed through the place that I wanted to go. And that day I was thinking of a friend of mine who'd passed. He passed probably 5 years ago now. And he was a bit of a wiring guru, you know, like that was his jam. And whenever I did some large scale wiring stuff, it was always him that was there sort of guiding me through. So I'd just been thinking about him that day, and I was doing this job, and I was thinking to myself, should I just like pull the fuses and disconnect the battery? And I sort of thought Pete'd be sitting there going, what are you doing, you stupid fuck? You know, like pull the fuses, cut the circuit breakers. And I did. I couldn't get this wire fed through. It was just giving me the shit. So I opened up all the circuit breakers, disconnected the battery, and as soon as I did that, wire went through first shot. And it just sort of gave me this feeling, I guess, whether it be real or not, you know, that he was looking down. You know, it was a funky. I can't say I've had many instances like that I've sort of really twigged to, but that one really stood out to me.
Yeah.
I thought that talking about Harry would be a good little segue into that story, because no doubt he'll be looking down on some people now.
Yeah.
Have you got any similar sort of instances?
No, not really. Some people I know, though, they have those all the time. You know, I think some people are just like that. They're like super, I don't know, I don't know if I'd say spiritual, but like they're just, you know, every time you see them, they're like, I had this dream and it was about this and that, and just all sorts of like funny, weird experiences with message. I'm like, man, I barely dream ever.
Yeah. Well, it's one of
And
those
if I
things.
do, I remember one of the last dreams I had, I was getting rolled in the VR and you were in the passenger seat and we got held up.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't like those dreams.
No. Well, at least you weren't getting rolled like on your roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things when you're in that REM sleep and you're actually having those dreams, is you've got a thing of like you've actually got to remember it. Like even you probably have the dream, but you just don't remember it when you wake up.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But then when it comes to, say, things of, dare I say, for like from a higher power or, you know, spiritual type of things, there's definitely the thought that your mind has to be open to it, which mine obviously isn't, because it doesn't really, like I don't see ghosts or anything like that, you know, but you hear people that see spirits that can talk to people who've passed on or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think
it's probably not that common, not as common in the Western world, but in other cultures and that, spirituality is massive.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, particularly like the Hindus and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Western world's it's a funny place.
Isn't it?
It is. You know, we definitely don't have everything nailed down tight, I don't think.
No.
A lot to learn there still, but that's all right.
But if you guys have had any instances where you feel like someone's been looking over your shoulder and keeping an eye out for you, I'd love to hear it. Drop us a comment, leave us a voicemail. If you'd like to, torqhub.com.au, there's a red button on the right-hand side where you can leave us a voicemail for the podcast. And while you're there, mate, check out some of those Pick Your Poison shirts that we were just talking about. We managed to get them all over the country. Finally got our first order out to Tassie.
Hell yeah.
That's us. Come racing blocks, mate. We're getting closer. Edging ever closer.
I forgot all about them, honestly, until the other day.
Wow.
Week.
I mean, shit, they've been...
I think COVID fucked that,
Oh,
didn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's been a long time coming, but it sounds like they're getting pretty close. However, pricing looks like, what was it? They were going to be $8,000 or $9,000?
I think it was around $9,000, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't priced up a Torq power block lately, but I think they were around the $8,000 mark as well.
It's not far off when you price up like an LS Next or something like that.
Yeah. Then you got like the bullet billet blocks, they're $15,000. But unpopular opinion, some people may have seen me say it online before, but I personally don't believe billet blocks belong in street cars. There's a level of
Don't belong is a strong word.
Nah, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, because there's a level of thermodynamics with a billet block when they grow with heat that you end up with tolerances that are just not suited. You know what I mean? Like to your cold tolerances with a billet block are that tight because of the thermal expansion that they undergo. I've spoken to a couple of engine builders about this very briefly. Like, I don't know any engine builders good enough to give me that much time. But speaking with them, and they've said, like the tolerances at cold are that tight. A lot of these cars, they're dry sump cars, right? So they heat up the oil in the tank and they run them through before firing them up.
Right,
So if you're looking at a car that you want to turnkey and drive on the street, I personally don't think that a billet block is the go.
Well, no one
Look, yeah, I know.
no one is putting a billet block engine in their car to drive it on the street. Only.
You don't think?
Not only to drive on the street.
I reckon there's people that want it just because
purely for the street.
Because it's a billet block.
I mean, there might be some people, but that's probably, you could probably spend your money a little better in most cases.
Well, I mean,
we
could spend our money a little better by not spending money on 5 litres.
You don't need a billet block to, any cast block will make more power than any car that can hook up on the street.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've said that heaps of times. But the cars that are doing that are obviously, drag and drive is just getting so much, more and more popular, every year. It's like it's a new challenge. Probably one of the hardest type of vehicles to build really these days because, the front runners are all doing on a world scale, they're running fives now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Six in our
six
country,
car,
in this country, realistically, most of them are doing sixes. But there's a big gap between.
Well, I don't think there's many in Australia that are really doing sixes.
Yeah, but if you're King Dick, you're doing sixes.
Yeah,
you are. That's just what you're doing. You're not winning drag challenge unless you've got a car that's at least capable of doing sixes.
Yeah.
So that's where your billet stuff comes in. Like you said, if you've got a billet block, you're gonna have a dry sump. If you've got a dry sump, you're gonna have a heater in it, and you're gonna prime it before you drive it, and that all just becomes null and void. Obviously, it's not something you're just gonna fucking key it on and just cruise down, do a quick Macca's run or whatever. It's not going to be good for that.
Yeah.
But if you've invested that much money in your engine, you're not going to be silly enough to do that anyway.
No, that's right. But sort of circling back a little bit, let's talk Cum Racing versus Torq Power block. Both of them obviously being fairly similar, being cast iron blocks. However, I think the main difference, between the two being that the Torq Power item has a raised cam tunnel, whereas it looks like everything on the Cum Racing block is factory location. So that means factory timing cover and all that will all bolt on.
Yeah,
it's a direct replacement block. That's got to be a good thing for class racing. Obviously, a Torq Power block would probably be fine in most instances for class racing. However, that raised cam tunnel, when you get into the nitty gritty of say,
how many people are class racing holding?
Yeah, probably
V8s?
not.
No, that's not even it.
But if you're looking at say like a Jimmy and Edis type of setup, like Mr. X Racing with that sort of super stock, you could run an iron block being like a Cum Racing block, whereas you couldn't do a Torq Power one.
Yeah.
And that sort of goes to show as well, like they're running aspirated, stock stroke, like low 9s, high 8s on a stock block. So if that doesn't tell you that they're not capable, you know what I mean? Like they are well and truly capable.
Yeah.
And
it's just availability,
cast
really.
heads as well.
Yeah.
Because I think the only alloy heads that you could run on those were an Edelbrock or what was it? It was an Edelbrock head or maybe a Pro Comp head. I think they were the only two alloy heads that you could run in that class. Which
really,
yeah, you couldn't run.
Well, the two heads that aren't made in this country.
That's right.
Yeah,
and you can't run a Haig.
Good on you, Shagger.
You can't run a good head.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid you want to run a good head. No good.
It'd be good. I mean, anytime you see something new come out,
yeah,
for whatever engine, but if it's made in this country, especially for me, I like to see it. It'd be interesting to see what sort of order numbers or interest the guys have.
Yeah.
With it. I know they've changed the oiling system on it and got that all sorted. So
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just going to their priority mains oiling system, which has been a thing they've been doing for donkeys. There's a lot of really good videos. If you're interested, guys, you can go onto the Come Racing YouTube channel, and there's some really good informative videos on how you can do your own priority mains oiling system.
well, it's the Holden equivalent. To modify your block, it's not a true priority main, but it's sort of like a halfway. Whereas the new block is a proper priority mains. Gets the mains first and then goes from there. So it's definitely I mean, they're not dummies. They know what needed doing.
They've seen some things. They've done some stuff.
Yeah,
for shizzy. What else did I have on my list here? The list. You managed to get up to the Motorplex semi-recently, but it wasn't one of those events, was it? Or was it a winter heat?
I don't know what it was. Does that help you?
Yeah, good chat. Anyway, guys, we'll catch you on the next. No.
I can't remember what it was called, but I went there.
Yeah, nice.
It was, I don't know.
But there's been a four event season, I guess, of this event at the Perth Motorplex called The List. Which has seen some of the baddest cars in Perth sort of get down at the Motorplex, sort of we'll call it the off season. We kind of have a very Mediterranean climate here where we shut the track during winter, and they've been running the events sort of in the cooler months, which seems like it's been pretty good for the guys. We've even seen Tony Mazzatelli's VF Maloo run a 6-second pass on radials, which is pretty impressive. And a friend of mine, Mark Gross, look, if that bloke didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, right?
Yep. It's not them.
That bright orange EK Ute, he had a bit of a crash last season, or was it last season or the season before? It was a pretty extensive repair anyway. So he's had the car repaired, repainted, got it back on the track, and lost a wheel at about the 300-foot mark by the looks. Like, how bad luck could
Not
you be?
ideal.
Sounds like it's got some rear quarter panel damage, but
it's been fixed up.
Yeah, not anywhere near as bad as last time, thankfully. So
just goes to show, obviously, everyone that's been getting involved in it, it's they've been really enjoying it. He got the car fixed to a point where he could get back out there. So that sort of enthusiasm is good to see. And it's good to see the direction of where it could potentially get taken. This season and in the next one's coming.
It's something that I really want to do this season is get to the track more. I feel like there was a period there where we were going fairly regularly and we just haven't been. And obviously, while we don't have cars to run, it's one of those things where you think, instead of going to the track that night, maybe I'll spend the night in the shed. But I don't know. I just miss it. I'd love to spend a little bit more time at the track this season. Because we have an amazing facility. We say it all the time. It's a world-class facility. There's no doubt about it. And we really should get some more use out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which would be good once we've got some fucking cars that run.
Yeah.
Mate, you're looking thirsty. We got a bit of a drink review if you've been around a while.
Thanks to our sponsor, Caden.
Yeah, thanks to our sponsor, Caden. And Kurto's illegitimate brother, Troy Candy. We've got the new Green Apple G up. These were brand new when Caden got them for us, and they've been sitting in the fridge waiting for the next podcast.
Yeah.
So we've done a bit of a review on the other flavours in episodes gone by. So if you are interested to know what we think, like our opinion matters, you go back and check that. Go back and check that out. But Green Apple. This one isn't a zero sugar one, is it? No.
I hope not.
No, it's not a zero sugar one.
I'm not about the zero sugar, even though that one that you just gave me before was zero sugar.
Yeah. And not bad.
I want the real shit.
What's your thoughts on the green apple?
I don't mind it.
It smells like green apple. You know what I mean? Like the smell's on point. Some of these things, I don't smell anything like it. That smells like green apple. The taste is pretty good. What would you... It almost tastes a bit like a cider, but not.
Yeah.
Like it's got that sort of Summersby cider. You know what I mean? It's got that real sweetness.
As you'd expect.
Yeah.
From a lolly water.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Look, I don't mind it.
No.
I'm a sugar tooth though, so like
I could
if
get
it's
around that.
sweet, if it can rot your teeth, I'm probably
All
going to
about
be
it.
somewhat about it.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm not about the no sugar.
Nah. So, out of the other flavor, blue was definitely our least favorite, right? That was the sugar-free blue flavor.
Yeah.
The purple flavor,
Yeah, it's alright.
that was all right, but red was our favorite. Would you rate this higher than the red? Because the red one to me just gave me straight up red frog vibes.
I mean,
I reckon they'd be
They go
pretty
close,
close.
man.
I mean, we
Yeah.
don't have any red ones on hand to do a direct comparo, but
yeah.
I reckon that's
I was
pretty
thinking it might have tasted like. Do you remember those Warhead, the sour Warhead
good. Oh.
lollipops from fucking when we were like?
Actually, now that you say that, do you know what? Literally, you just said that has flicked a thing in my mind. Ghost drops. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really remember them.
they were like show bags only. Like
Okay.
you got them at like a fair or whatever. You get ghost drops.
Could be
They-
that.
shit.
I'll be honest something. Thank you, Caden. Anyway,
Now, this is also a great little segue because recent news. Adrien Portelli, part of the G Up conglomerate, if you call it that, has just purchased a share or a stake in Out There Group, which is the company, the umbrella company which runs SummerNATS, Motivation, Red Centre Nats, etc.
all the Nats
All here. Anything with Nats, them.
except for Nats, what I reckon. Not that.
Except, yeah, not
Not
Nats,
that.
what I reckon. Except they'd probably invite him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you reckon? Adrien Portelli buying a stake. Could that be a good or a negative thing?
I
What's
think
your
anything that he gets involved in is good.
Man.
I don't follow him like. I don't watch all the shit he puts up
You're not
all
a
day
fanboy?
every day. I just don't do it. I'm not interested in watching all that stuff. But anytime I've watched podcasts or listened to podcasts with him in it, and I actually do think that he's a genuine good guy. I like what he's about.
Yep.
I mean, I've heard him talk about, how he used to donate to charity and how he didn't like how they run their stuff. And I've sort of looked into that before and realised, they're not. All the money's not really going where you want it to go.
What
And
was
so
the story? He said he wanted to donate a couple $1,000 and he told him, I want you to buy, like this kid wished for a trampoline, I want you to buy the trampoline. They're like, no, we can't do that. And he's like, what do you
more
mean?
or
Just
less, they
buy
take,
the kid a trampoline.
yeah, they take all the money and pay themselves fat stacks to run it and this and that. And basically the people that are supposed to be the beneficiaries of the charity get small portions.
Yeah,
And they try and tell... he's given these guys a lot of money and they're trying to tell him what he can and can't do with it and what they can and can't. So he just started his own. And I think now he's at the point where when he started his own, they were telling him what he could and couldn't do. So now he just buys people's stuff, I think, and just gives people money into certain things that way. And there's no way any sort of, I don't know what you call it, official people can't get involved, basically, because obviously everything's governed in one way or another.
Yeah.
And he just, even when he had his own charity, he couldn't do what he wanted to do, which is just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. And
Just
I
shows you how, let's not go there, but just how off-field shit can get these days. It really is. Someone like him is trying to do a little bit of good,
Yeah, make a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
And like he buys and builds property for like children's foundations and things like that. I'm assuming some of it would be like Ronald McDonald House type of stuff, you know what I mean? Like stuff to help people.
Whatever he
and
wants to do on whatever level.
spends millions of dollars doing it, so hats off to him. But outside of that, how do you think it's going to benefit Out There Group? Obviously, the dude has millions of dollars of cars, millions and millions of dollars of cars. So he's interested. He's not interested in the type of car that sort of the SummerNATS brand, I guess.
I think he likes that stuff. I think he's just grew old of it with the levels that he's on.
Yeah, okay. Just when you got fuck
he's
you
a
money,
he's a
billionaire.
but it's not even that. He's a fucking marketing genius.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like if you listen to some of his stories where people that are experts at marketing and this and that and telling him how he should do things and he just hasn't listened. He's done what he knows works and he's made him look stupid. So just having the marketing sort of ability alone's probably good, plus the brand that he brings.
Yeah.
And I mean he's he's not scared to spend a bit of money and
Nah,
try
that's right.
something, you know. So
I feel like, for Out There Group, the benefit obviously is his funding, like his backing. So anything, if obviously he's not just going to throw money at him, but that gives them an extra sort of level of security of like, hey, we want to take this risk, and if everyone agrees, then they can sort of make some cool shit happen. Which once again, there's levels to these things, right? So let's take the event to the next level. To get to that level, you need a certain level of funding, which means you need a backer. So now they've kind of got someone who's in a position with a network of people who now he doesn't have to fund it himself, but he can bring these companies that he's aligned with and go, hey, we want to do something that's never been done before, and get them on board. So I think that's going to be a really good thing for both, SummerNATS series and the National Drag Racing Championship as well, because obviously they do both.
yeah,
So that's only going to bring them up to the next level. I think what Adrian's probably going to get in return is that obviously he's going to only further be pushing his brand, both LMCT Plus, G Up, Flipside, all these companies that he's got on the go. He's got a really good captive target audience at those events where he can just absolutely belt the marketing through, and really send it home. So I've got no doubt that the slushies at SummerNATS are probably going to be G-Up slushies, you know what I mean? Like that's going to be...
I think he is a genuine car guy though, well. Like I don't think it's just purely money and him marketing. I know you're not saying that, but I think honestly those are... Like, I think he'd be genuinely like, I want to fucking... He'll have an idea that he just wants to do, and it might not even make the most sense money-wise, at least initially. Some of these things you got to play the long game on and take a loss or, just try it out, whereas the risk versus reward probably might not have been there before, but he's like, no, fuck this. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's best mates with Troy. Like, don't get much more bogan car guy than that, really, let's be honest. For the most part, he's just like us in a lot of ways. So,
but I guess they started as competition before they aligned each other with the whole raffle company thing. Like, because Troy was, he'd basically approach a charity and say, hey, I want to help you do a giveaway, and then build the car, charge them for the car, and then whatever was on top of that, then that went to charity. So he, once again, raised millions of dollars for charity, but saw the same thing, that it wasn't going to where he wanted it to go. So having this brand alignment between the two of them, sort of amalgamating and really pushing LMCT to where it is, that's sort of where they're at. So that's probably where they sort of really connected. But obviously the bromance is real with those two for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no question.
So yeah, to close it out, I think it'll be great. I can't see any sort of bad...
No. I think it's going to be a good thing as well.
Yeah.
We put a post up on our page, and all the comments sort of seem to say that, they can't see it really being a bad thing.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to it. The giveaway company thing, though, obviously LMCT Plus is an absolute juggernaut and a pioneer. Found a sweet little loophole to make that work, and fucking good on him. But there's so many copycats these days, right? Everywhere you look, there's someone trying to give away a car or a motorbike or whatever. There's just everyone trying to copy the business model.
It's an old model. It's not anything new. It's been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ways with all the red tape that we all have to deal with these days, obviously there's ways that you need to navigate that, like you've mentioned. But the actual concept itself of raffling something off has been around for a fucking long time, and it's a great concept.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
but it's been interesting to see. Like, there's been some that have come under fire. Giving away cars, and then you hear, not going to out anybody because this is all alleged. I don't think anyone's actually been proven or, to have been doing any shenanigans. But you hear people like the giveaway company purchases the car for the giveaway, and then the girlfriend of the dude who owned the car wins the raffle. You know what I mean? Like, are we just feeding the family here? There's got to be
you couldn't make it that obvious. Surely you wouldn't make it that obvious.
I don't know. It seems like it's been a thing. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Look, man, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, you'd probably try pretty hard to be like have some exclusions on each giveaway.
No, that's right.
If you're a family member or something like that.
Look, I think giveaways really, they've got to be a little bit more straight up and down than that. There's got to be like a level of transparency, because
Like a third party.
you see some of these raffles where sort of they go, oh, the draw's going to be, whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear nothing. It's gone. You don't. This is where LMCT do really well, is that where they can, they'll get the person on camera. They'll show you the face, they'll show the handover. This is where we're at. Whereas a lot of these other companies, it's just like the raffle's done. You don't even like who won. I don't know who won. They don't even tell you. So I don't know. There's got to be some sort of level of regulation, I think.
Those ones probably don't do that well either.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't think so. Makes you wonder, like, if you're selling packages, obviously you got to spend.
Look, I don't get involved in much of that stuff. I'm in a work lottery just to fucking be in it, because I said the other day, be fucked if I'm coming into work and being the miserable cunt that's still got to come to this place while you guys are all out partying.
On the
like,
Bahamas.
I'm just that's my like little insurance. That's my gap insurance right there.
What was it? There was it $150 million syndicate in Kalgoorlie, and there was just like there's a whole group of people that won,
Would have been a whole shift,
50 people or whatever. But then there was like an argument of 3 or 4 people that
hadn't paid their money
they weren't
for the
paid
day?
up.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, just take it out of my winnings. Like, nah, fuck
well,
you,
I had
bud.
to do that because it had like gone over a year, and I think my wife told me that when you do like set up a direct debit, because I don't pay bills or whatever, after a year, like sometimes, or I guess all the time, you need to reset it. So I had to go through and figure out how many I'd missed heaps, like months worth.
Oh, really?
Fuck, I had to pay back up. I'm like, I'm not missing out, eh?
Yeah,
Imagine
not
if we
gonna
won
be that
week,
guy.
I had to pay up because there was a draw coming. I'm like, I am. Look, that glass half full guy's just in my ear. Like, you better sort this out because you're gonna.
That's right. Look, when
You're gonna be on suicide watch.
Even the glass half empty guy's like, look, bro, we ain't gonna win.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
fucked if I'm gonna risk it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm at. But I mean, even I've been tempted to get into some of these draws because they have some fucking pretty cool cars.
That
on there.
1500 horsepower 32 that keep it real.
that was one of them. Yeah. That was one of them. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So no, it's cool. I reckon. Good luck to them.
Yeah. No,
that's a lot of people just hate on people for making money, and it's just one of those sort of ruts you can get in, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't be hating on a bloke for making money.
No, that's right.
As long as he's not ripping you off. But even if he is ripping you off, it's not gonna last long. The world will come around.
Exactly.
And you get sorted out. It's just how it is.
Karma will get you.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's giveaway companies, guys. Which means if you head to torqhub.com.au right now, every $5 you spend will get you half an entry into a crisp high five when I pass you on the street. 1 in 5 chance.
You're going to
Let's
have
go.
to cruise around and hand them out.
Nah. I want to circle back a little bit though. Obviously, Adrien buying into out their group. They've just announced. They've just dropped the early bird entries and sort of put out the schedule for Motivation 39. I got to say, after last year, I was a bit on the fence if I was even going to bother going, especially because I've sold the Ute now and I wouldn't be taking a car. But having seen the schedule, I feel like they've listened. I feel like they've actually made a concerted effort to appease the entrants a little bit more and give you a bit more bang for your buck. So just as a bit of a... well, let's go back. What were the things that you, as an entrant, disliked about Motivation when you went? Hit me with it.
Well, I think there was too many like shitbox skid cars there.
Yeah.
That was one of my things. So
yeah,
just a lot of on the brake stuff in the cruising and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe a bit of congestion in the pits area.
A lot of congestion.
Like when I went, 13, 14 odd years ago or whatever, there was way more cars there for starters. The whole top paddock upright that was all packed. There was way more cars, so you can't say it's like a congestion issue as far as numbers are concerned, and everything sort of just seemed to flow a lot better.
Yeah.
So,
But they were also
sit-
letting a lot more cars out on the track at one. Like, and what I
well,
mean
cruising went for. I mean,
lot
I've got a bad memory, but
Yeah.
there was tons of cruising. That's what it was
Yeah.
kind of about.
So that was the thing that sort of got me, is that there was no Super Cruise on the Friday and there was no Super Cruise on the Sunday. Essentially, if you weren't in the burnout finals, then Sunday was just a wash. There was no point being there, really.
Yeah.
There was a bit of drag racing on the Friday night, and some skids, whatever. And then you got a couple of Super Cruises on the Saturday. But like I say, Sunday to me was a complete waste of time. Unless you're in the burnout finals, there was, or if you had an elite car that was, going for grand champion or whatever, there was next to no reason for being there. So the really cool thing that I'm pumped on for this year's schedule is that they've got a smooth cruise on the Friday from 1:45 in the afternoon. So that means if you're one of the early birds that doesn't wait until finishing work on Friday to get there, you can get out on a smooth cruise. Skid Row's open from lunchtime. What else is there? Roll racing from 3 p.m. So there's actually roll racing on the Friday night, which is something I haven't seen them do before. So that's quite exciting. Obviously, Skid Row would still be a thing. So guys that just want to go there and literally just go there to belt tyres, you can do that. The Friday evening drag racing is a thing again. So after the roll racing, there'll be drag racing following that. And then an evening super cruise on the Friday. So you've got smooth cruise, roll racing, drag racing, and a super cruise. So this is all things that people who aren't purely there to do burnouts can get amongst.
Yep.
Saturday is more or less how they'd normally go on the Saturday. You've got your couple of super cruises, your slalom, go to woe, those sorts of driving events, as well as a couple of smooth cruises. And then your burnout finals that evening. And then on Sunday, we've got a super cruise on the Sunday as well. So you've got, smooth cruise in the morning. You've got a super cruise on the lead up to lunchtime, as well as the Grand Champion events and the burnout finals. So there's literally something every day for you to get around, so long as your car makes it that long.
Yeah. it makes sense though, doesn't it?
Oh, it didn't.
Like the majority of the people that, well, not the majority, but
A lot of people are bringing
portion.
street cars,
Yeah.
right? They're not there just to swing around the pad and do other. So, like, there's a fair few people with their street cars that'll go down Skid Row, but a lot of them are there for the super cruise.
And they've got the burnout competition anyway. So it's like you've got the burnout competition and you've got Skid Row. You don't need, that's already too much.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So you cater for the other guys as well. Because everyone that's there just to do skids is going in the comp.
That's right.
Aren't they? Like, it's not like anyone's just going there and only wants to do skids on the Super Cruise and do literally nothing else.
Yeah.
Everyone that's got a car that can skid, that wants to skid, is going to go in the comp.
That's right.
So you've got that, but the guys that don't want to do that, they sort of fucking got left with not much. So it's an improvement. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll sort of go back to, hark back to the days of old where there's a bit of an approval process for your vehicle. So that they try and bring the quality up a little bit. Like we've always said, there is room for the slappers at MOTORVATION because there's got to be a couple of them. There's something for everybody then, right? And also, they're the ones that kind of, I don't know, send it.
Or maybe they have the same cars or whatever there, but maybe when you on the smooth cruise or something, maybe you just can't take that piece of shit out there.
Yeah, okay.
Because, on the smooth cruise, they're not allowed to do skids anyway, are they?
Do you remember, there used to be a thing in the year, recent years it hasn't been a thing, but it used to be a thing when you went out on a super cruise, you had to have matching wheels.
Yeah. Maybe something like that.
Because, it was if you can go out on the super cruise and you can do your skids and whatever, but it had to be like a full set of wheels. You couldn't just put skidders on the back.
Because if someone's got something like fairly nice and tidy, they're not going to be super impressed when there's some AU Falcon pretty much slinging belts up the back end of the track on the return road.
Yeah.
As that happens all the time.
Yeah. Lighting fires.
Yeah.
That was the biggest downer for last year, was the fire on the Saturday. And look, once again, I said it at the time, I'll say it again, hats off to the organisers for how quickly they got that sorted. And we had, choppers and planes and whatever. But obviously it killed a lot of track time for the guys. One thing I'd like to hopefully see is that during the Super Cruise, they'll keep Skid Row open simultaneously. So the guys that just want to creep along on the brake and blow tyres can go to Skid Row and leave the track for those who are doing the Super Cruise.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That was a really great idea that they implemented last year. Due to circumstances, it wasn't planned, but it worked really well, and I hope we see that again moving forward.
I'd like to see something like that. If you've got the competitions and you've got Skid Row, obviously you take whatever you can get, but
Yeah.
I'm sure if you ask some of the guys that just have the streeters and
Yeah.
stuff like that, they probably don't want to
But,
be
I mean,
getting
you look at-
everything covered in shit.
You look at the
nonsense.
staging lanes for Skid Row, how packed it gets, and then you look at the staging lanes, how packed it gets for the Super Cruise. If you could split it and you can free up the traffic for both of them, surely that's got to be a good thing. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more heavy on the staff. You're going to need like an extra 10 people to do both at the same time. But
You need to do something because
can't
the
see it being
longevity of it, people, you're
Yeah.
just going to.
I can't see it
will
being a
dwindle
bad thing. And then
otherwise.
that way you can allow more entrance because you've got more free-flowing traffic. You've got more dedicated sort of thing to go by. So I reckon
We'll
that's the
see.
going.
We'll see how it goes.
But with that schedule, because there was a couple of guys last year that were pretty much like, yeah, I don't know if I'll bother to enter next year because I don't know if the value for money's there. But since that's come out, the old camping group chat from last year,
She's fired up.
yeah, a couple of the guys are pretty G'd up. So Mick's already entered the XY, and I said, fuck it, yeah, stick me down. I'll come with a buddy pass. And obviously now the D-Max is well decked out. We'll run that as a camp vehicle because, we'll have tunes and we can do whatever. We could run a podcast live at the event if we wanted to. We've got everything. We've got all the fixings. If you haven't seen it, actually most of you haven't seen it because you don't like the 4Drive content. But yeah, the D-Max is well sorted for that, and that's pretty much what I built it for, is so that we can go to events and we can be like organised in a way.
It's done now, though, isn't it?
It
So
is.
we're good.
It is. But yeah, so I'll be going the Super Camry, the compound turbo 1JZ, JZX 100 Toyota Chaser. He reckons he's going to stick an entry in and bring that in.
Yeah.
So that was making a lazy 600 on a very low boost setting for that combo.
Yeah, for the initial. It was in at home 2 or maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
3 odd weeks ago, we've put a new turbo on the new secondary turbo on it with a speed sensor.
I was going to say, the only reason he changed that turbo is because he needed a shaft speed sensor.
Yeah, Shannon wanted one so we could see what was happening.
Which that's the only reason that they pegged it at 600. It's got like all the headroom in the world, really.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
But
I think it needs something else on the bigger turbo, but
yeah,
it's like anything. Let's just max this one out first. So there's a lot of... It's not a simple task managing that at all.
It's not a simple setup.
No. So actually, that'll probably be getting ready for the dyno anytime soon, and Matt was fairly keen to try and slot it in when I was not busy so I could go with him and actually, go out there and just, see it on the dyno and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Considering I helped him so much with it, I guess. So
Yeah.
I actually might touch base with him. I think he was waiting on some shielded wire or something to wire up that sensor, and so he's very, very close. So,
Yeah, okay.
well,
Well,
but
hopefully
yeah, it
that
was a
works
pleasure
out.
to get it back in. Did a little bit more pipe work on it, and we've got some plans to, in the future, maybe put an intercooler between stages and potentially a different turbo if it needs it. So
Because really,
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, really, he wants 1,000 horsepower, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
if
sort of just the goal.
all the stuff is there to support 1,000 horsepower, like the engine, the gearbox, the fuel system, everything there is set up. It's probably just the compressors that would hold it back, if anything.
If anything, yeah, we don't know yet.
So we'll soon find out.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But
Be good to see it there anyway.
Yeah, like I say, I'll be going down to Motivation anyhow with Matt, and I believe Wolfie's probably going to bring his XY. I'm not sure. I haven't got a confirmation from Simon if he'll bring his HQ.
Mick's got to do a skid this time, but
yeah,
already
Mick
told
does
him.
have to do a skid. this
he
time.
asked me in the group chat, what's a skid? And I said, if I've got to explain that to you, just fucking forget about it, Mick. So I know you're watching this. Get your practice on, mate.
Look dead into the camera and
Get
tell
your
him.
practice on, mate. We want to see a proper fucking skid this year. EFI or not, I don't care.
Wolfie's not going to let him
Yeah,
go
that's
home.
it.
Nah, Wolfie was very disappointed.
Yeah, Wolfie's going to have a team member. It's going to be just banter plus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I make it there anyway.
I was going to say, do you reckon you'll make it? We'll
I
have
don't
to
know
see.
yet. We've got, I can't say. I've got things happening, so I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm doing right now. My work schedule is, I don't know whether I'm Arthur or Martha.
It's very fluid at the moment.
Yeah, so I'll probably know closer to the date.
Yeah.
But I do want to get there.
Yeah. Oh, look, it wasn't the
I
same.
mean, I'd like to get the VR there. I'm not even going to count that out yet.
Wow.
I'm not. Don't even start asking me questions about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Don't say it then.
Well,
Don't look. I don't know why you mentioned it.
I'm just getting flirty. All right. We'll see.
I don't know why you keep doing. You get me all riled up for nothing.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But really,
a couple of drinks and start just talking nonsense.
absolute
Pure
nonsense. Yeah. I don't think there's really that much holding yours back.
Yeah, me.
Oh, well, there's
Other than
that.
it's
Yeah,
only
there's that.
me. Yeah.
There's some money to be spent to get a couple of things over the
Yeah,
line.
bugger all, really.
But yeah,
It's just it's probably more of a time thing, really.
Yeah.
This Malou's going to be back, soon.
soon.
Real
yeah.
soon.
I don't
It's
even
gone
really
quick.
want to bother touching on that.
We're not going to.
Nah. But yeah,
Epic doesn't even begin. It just doesn't even begin to describe this project.
There's a very good reason why we worked on it so hard for 3 months and you've seen nothing. Put it that way. You've seen nothing because basically everything that we did has been undone and the build has totally changed and you guys are going to be absolutely blown away. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we could keep going, but I think we'll move on to the next.
Move on to the next one.
You know what really grinds my gears? Running on the chip.
On the chip, powered by our good friends at Reed Speed. Head to reedspeed.com.au where you can get a what, Fizzy? Hit them with it.
Crank trigger kits.
Oh!
And they look good too.
We've been flirting them for a while. The crank trigger kits for the Holden V8 are ready. As we're recording this right now, they will be on the website next week. So if you're getting to this podcast about a week after we've dropped it, well, guess what? They're already there.
Go and have a look.
Absolutely. If you're a Holden V8 guy, you will have been looking for this for a while. A lot of people have had to buy like a MSD flying magnet kit and modify it and whatever to suit, but now you've got a crank trigger option.
The wheels there, you can buy it ready to go. You don't need to muck around.
And it's all adapted to go to the Reed Speed balance. So you can either get 4 or 12 flying magnet, or you can get a 36-1 steel reluctor.
Yeah.
So
there's still some options he's working on for mounts and stuff like that, and there's going to be probably a few different variants for different timing covers and different sides. Like there's going to be some trickery there. You're not just going to have a one piece fits all scenario. So there's still some work to do there, but just getting the wheel on there and having a nice solution that you don't have to muck around with, even for now, it's really cool. So go and check it out. Anyone that's trying to make any sort of steam on these engines, you want a good crank trigger.
Absolutely, yeah.
Something that's literally telling you exactly where the crankshaft position is. You're not relying on something off the dizzy off the back of the motor. There's some accuracy there.
Speaking of dizzies, I think I saw something the other day. There's a Holden V8 option that's just like the Spud. It's got the dual sync.
That
Hall
was
effect.
Ice.
Huh?
I think Ice did that, eh?
I think it was, yeah. It might have been
Someone
Ice.
Someone has converted the sweet Holly, the Holly sensor one. It's got the light on it and everything, so it tells you like the crank sensor.
Yeah.
Cam sync.
Yeah.
Somewhat, you can modify those to suit Holden as well. I'm not sure exactly what's involved. Probably a little bit of machining and stuff, but there's a few different options there. But the easiest one is to just use your distributor.
Yeah. VT.
For your sync. Yeah. For your sync, and then use the crank position. It's a good way to go. If you're serious, you already know.
Yeah.
So you've got some options there.
That's right. Good dogs. This is usually a bit of a jovial sort of stab at thing. Actually, before I go into my bit, have you got something that gets you on the chip?
Not yet, but you wait.
Oh,
You remind me. I've always got something, man.
Yeah.
I can piss and moan with the best of them.
Oh, I know.
Hey, don't bash
I
me.
know.
I'll
didn't-
bash me.
I didn't
All
bash you. I'm just saying.
but I know. You're like,
I know. Nah, this is usually a fairly light and jovial sort of stab at some companies or some products or just some situations in general. Ooh, that was nice. And I don't want to bring the mood down too badly, but I do want to take a bit of a serious chat this evening, Kurdo. Sort of relates back to our hiatus, and the fact is I have been buzzing on the chip for far too long. It's been a burn down. And
you've been burned down, have you?
your boy was burnt the fuck out. There's no two ways about it. You'll probably be able to tell. You could tell. Others probably can't because you can turn it on for the camera for a couple of minutes. But I've not been myself lately, and it's because of a lot of different things. Not necessarily the content. The content is something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that I really enjoy. But just life in general, and particularly my what I do for work and stuff, very, very stressful, and that gets me buzzing pretty hard. And it got to a point where I just had to stop doing everything. You know what I mean? Like, I stopped filming. This is why I was fairly absent in the start of the Maloo project, because it's very, what's the words? It's a little bit of a cliche, but you hear people say things like, you've got to fill your cup, right? Everyone's heard that sort of analogy before. But it just gets to a point where I was just that tapped out with everything that was going on that I just had to give things a miss for a moment and really reflect on where my priorities laid. So as a male, the man of the house, I guess, you've really got this primal pressure above you to provide for the family. And so
that's your job.
Yeah. So you really prioritize, obviously, family first, right? That's what you tell yourself. It's always family first. And because family first, you go to work to provide for the family. Now, inadvertently, what happens there, or what happened with me, is that I was putting work first because I had to work hard, go hard. And I'm the kind of person that operates exceptionally well under pressure. That's where I thrive. So when the pressure's on, I just buckle down harder, and the pressure gets hotter and hotter and hotter to the point where it nearly pops. And I had to take a couple of weeks off work, and it's not until you step off the merry-go-round that you realise that the ride kind of sucks. And I had to really readjust all of my priorities, which meant don't film content. It meant don't mow the lawn. It meant not going to Kurt's place, not doing whatever. But I got to say one thing to you guys, and that is don't close off your dialogue with people. Keep an open line of communication. The whole time that this was going down, I wasn't talking to Kurt as much as I normally would because I was trying to stay off my phone. But you're still telling people where you're at, what you're doing. If you've got an employee assistance program in the company that you work with, I highly recommend engaging it and talking to a mental health professional and really trying to get those strategies for dealing with the thoughts and processes that you're struggling with, because it's super important. If you don't have an employee assistance program, you can go to a doctor and you can get a mental health plan. Same thing, you'll get some free sessions. But coming from me, obviously there's a lot of people who spruik the mental health thing, and I know it gets rammed down your throat to the point where a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but who's really, you know what I mean?
It
But
does, hey. It sometimes gets
it can get watered down.
I think it gets like a corny feel on it, and I feel that way with how I see when people say that. I think like, fuck, that sounds corny or whatever, because it kind of is in a way.
Like the "Are you okay" stuff
Like,
and all that. Like,
let's be honest. Society as a whole for males it's not. Like, if you can't provide for your family as like a man, you're really not going to be like, no one's coming to save you. No one's going to come to tell you that, oh no, that's all right.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the harsh reality
yeah,
of it, really, and it's not a big deal. We all
yeah,
live with it, and it is what it is, and we all want to do that anyway. But sometimes it compounds.
yeah. And that's what I was saying. It's like, because I'm the kind of person who really likes to work under pressure, when that compounds, it does get to a very overbearing point pretty quickly, right? And you start, because your headspace is just so pumped with all this stuff that you got going on, you start losing motivation to do anything else, you know, and you just start sitting on the couch because you just need that 10 minutes, right? But then that 10 minutes turns into an hour, which turns into 3 hours, and you've done nothing. And
at the end of that, you feel worse.
Absolutely.
You feel like shit, and then it's like keeps going.
And then, you know, your kids are starting to annoy you, and so you start snapping at them. And look, I'm not physical or violent with any of my kids. Don't take it that way. But there's times where I certainly snapped at a 3-year-old, you know, a 3-year-old dude. And then after you've snapped at him and you've had that release, then you sit back and go, what the fuck was that for? Makes you feel like a real piece of shit. So this is sort of where I've been. This is what's sort of been happening. I'm not saying this because I want any kind of sympathy, and I don't need you guys reaching out to, you know, and look, that's not to say that I don't like the guys who do reach out and sort of offer their kind words or whatever, but I'm not saying it.
It's not a cry for help.
No, that's right.
Jeff's good as fuck. I'm making sure he's good as fuck.
That's right. It's not a cry for help. What I'm saying is that I've dealt with it. And if you're in a similar position, if you feel like your work or anything in your life is overwhelming you to a point where productivity in all areas is being stifled, there needs to be something that changes. You know, you need to make that change. No one else can do it for you. And I really do strongly think that people in that position should reach out to their friend, their family, their confidant, or a mental health professional, because without it, it takes you to a dark place really fast. And I'm not someone who's ever really suffered with depression or anything in the past, but you start having thoughts of like, what am I even doing here? You know, like, what am I just a burden to everybody? You know, that these are things that you ask yourself, and if you are asking yourself, talk to us, talk to your friends, talk to somebody, please. But that, yeah, like I say, if on the chip were a thing, that's where I was at. And honestly, I'm getting flustered now just talking about it. It makes it really, it's a hard thing to talk about, but I felt like not talking about it is part of the problem. So it was important for me to voice it. I was lucky enough that I've got a pretty good and supportive manager at work. So I took my 2 weeks off so that I could clear my head and get my priorities straight. And then I went back in, had a meeting with a clear list of things that I felt were affecting me negatively at work, and trying to find workarounds. Obviously, some things it's kind of just part of the job, but there's got to be a level of support, and there's got to be ways that you can work around these things, because there's no way that you should be coming home from work feeling worse than when you went.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what it's there for. They don't pay you enough for that. No amount of money is worth that.
No.
So look after yourselves, guys. Look after each other. I'm very blessed to have my boy Curto here and a group of other really good mates. My wife is an absolute angel. She puts up with a lot. And also you guys and this whole Torqhub thing, you know, this gets me more motivated than anything to get out of bed, really, because it's something that I see that I'd love to, pursue it further. I'd love to be able to dial back work so that I can do this more, really, in my mind. And I know you as well, Kurt. If we could sort of work part-time in our day jobs and then spend that other part-time working on Torqhub, whether that be building cars, creating content, having like our own online speed shop, going to events, all that sort of stuff, because I truly believe that the two of us have something that we can really offer the scene in general. We've got
just being submersed in it.
Exactly,
Like we do genuinely love car, and anyone that meets us knows that like we can just go on and on and on about it.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a genuine interest there.
Yeah, and it was really scary for me that I felt like I was maybe losing that, because like the SLE's sitting behind us and it hasn't been touched in God knows how long since I got it back from the panel shop, right? And it sort of scared me to a point where like this is how those cars get sold the way that they do after spending God knows how much on them, because they've got this overwhelming pressure on them and they just need to release some of it. Easy way to do it, sell the car. Don't have to think about it anymore. You know what I mean? I'm glad I hadn't got to that point. I never was going to. Like, I'm someone that has to see something to the end.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it makes you question when you've got, like, it comes back as something you've waited so long for. You've got plenty of money. You've sold vehicles, sold houses. You've got like plenty of money to do all this stuff that you want. Like, you've got, some time. You've never got enough time, but you can make the time. You've got the money, but the drive just isn't there. And it's like, hang on, man, what the fuck's going on? What's going on here? I don't want to do it anymore, because it's a scary thing. I always think I don't want to not like cars.
No,
you know what I mean? It's this weird thing where it's like,
absolutely,
I don't care if I like something else. I don't want to like something else more. Like, don't take that away from me. I just want to like cars. Yeah,
for sure.
That's a weird thing to say, but yeah.
And as if I haven't done it enough, but just to pull the curtain back a little bit and show you a little bit of the back of house, I guess, is that the reason why the D-Max has been a thing is because during this whole debacle, it's not a battle, I'm not going to call it a battle, but just through this whole shit show that I've sort of been internally going through, speaking with my family, my boys and whatever, like they love going out on their motorbikes and they love going camping and stuff like that. So when I spoke with the family, after feeling like I've neglected them to a point, because I'm focusing so heavily on my work and on the SLE as well for as long as I did, the house gets neglected, the family stuff gets neglected. I said, what do you guys want to do? And they said, we want to ride our bikes, we want to go camping. So that's why I did the D-Max. Like no explanation is owed as to why I did spent the money on the D-Max and not the SLE. But if you guys wanted to sort of peek behind the veil, like I said, family first. As everyone says it, but do you really? I guess that's something that I had to learn, is that you say family first, but do you really?
Yeah.
And I didn't. So
it's a tricky one, eh? It's a hard one to face.
It is, man.
And I think everyone at some point in time would have to be honest with themselves.
It's a very tough pill to swallow, man. I got to be honest. But like I say, I'm getting reinvigorated now. I've had my hiatus. Like I say, I've readjusted my priorities. I've learnt to set a lot of boundaries as well, and that's also not just at work, but also with this sort of stuff. I'm not checking the analytics. I'm not replying to things as soon as they come through. Like, as much as I love interacting with the viewers, you've also got to be present. All of this stuff sounds so cliche, by the way. I know that when I'm saying it, this is what you'd hear on some fucking Instagram live from someone on a yoga retreat or whatever. But for real, guys, it's not until you put yourself in that space that you realize that it's not as cringe as it is a necessity, for real. And a lot of you are probably doing this subconsciously. You're doing it without thinking, because if you've got healthy relationships and you've got healthy work-life balance and structure, you're doing this already. But the balance is something that I know you've struggled with as well, Kurt. Myself, I hyper focus on things, right? So the work-life balance and the balance between filming and family and all this sort of stuff, it gets skewed at times.
You're just managing everyone's expectations of you is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Because we have an expectation of, like, you guys are going to be expecting something.
Yeah.
Your wife's going to be expecting this. Your kids are going to be expecting that. Your boss, if you've got a boss, he's going to be expecting this.
Yeah.
And you have expectations of yourself as well. So, like...
And just the way that we are is we don't shoot for mediocrity. Anyone that's watched more than 2 of our videos will know that we're not shooting for mediocre. We are, for anything that we do, we shoot for not necessarily excellence, because, I mean, excellence is something that's very hard
Everything
to find.
you got.
That's it.
Everything
Leave it
you
all on the field. Leave it all on the field. Don't leave anything behind. So it makes it somewhat difficult. But like I say, guys, I didn't want to drag the mood down too bad. I kind of just wanted to... This is like a bit of an apology, I guess, in a way. But
No, I don't call it that.
no, it shouldn't have to be. But I just wanted to... like I say, if I didn't say something, I felt like that's part of the problem. People not talking about it. That's how you end up in the spot that I was at.
Yeah.
So talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, did that bring anything up for you, mate? You got something on the chip?
Nah. What he said, pretty much.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, no, I think everyone deals with
Yeah,
that
for
to
sure.
some degree.
And I think that, you know, when we say, I think everyone deals with it, some people sort of feel like that cheapens it. I know that's not what you're saying. I'm going to back up what you're saying in that everyone is dealing with it.
It's just the world today as well. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not always a walk, but
No.
you just do your best.
So moving on from here, the D-Max is done. Like we said, I did a lot more work on it off camera. There's a whole bunch. We've given it a nickname. It's called the Battle Truck now, which is a silly nickname, but my 6-year-old came up with it, so now it's stuck. But because, I don't know, it just wasn't. It wasn't the videos that I wanted to put out, so I just did the work. It's done now. Really want to put a focus on this wagon. Obviously, the Maloo will be coming back soon, and we'll have a lot of work to do on that. But while this is in my shed, and because I've just...
We just got to finish this one and get it over
because
the
I've been
line.
doing
We're
a
just
lot,
there. We're nearly there.
Because I've been doing a lot of wiring lately, I'm like in the groove. I feel like I'm really comfortable in that wiring space at the moment, and that's essentially what is the major hurdle on this now, is wiring up all the ECU and the body stuff. So I really want to get that knocked over so that we can get it ready to run, tune, hand it back. Bada bing, bada boom. Hopefully in that sort of same time period, we'll be getting the Maloo back together. That'll be getting wired by someone other than me, because I don't want to. I don't want to have that. Yeah.
You'll understand once you say it.
That's right. But yeah, that'll be another thing. And then once those are sort of passed on, then we can really put the hammer down on the SLA.
We got heaps of parts for the SLA.
Dude, I've got parts.
And there's probably more.
Coming
There's
up
probably
the
more
wazoo.
that you can get to. Like, it's going to be like a really satisfying. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And there's heaps of fucking shit that this bloke wants done that's custom made. That's, you know, quick, easy job, Curto or whatever. But it's going to be good.
Hey, look, I won't twist.
I made
your
that
arm.
sound worse than what it was.
Yeah, I
actually.
don't twist. I'm not going to twist your arm, bro.
I love it when people say, I got a quick, easy job for you. Yeah, it's quick and easy for me, motherfucker. Not for you.
Hey, I made some brackets.
Don't cheapen.
I made some brackets the other day. You made that look really hard. I did that easy.
So yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it all.
The future's bright.
Jeff will tell you. I'm always pushing him to do
Yeah.
the better thing or whatever, this and that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
gonna
The
be
reason
sweet.
the reason why it's as bad as it is because of Kurt. Let's be honest. He's going to whinge about the amount of work that needs doing, but he's done it to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the future's bright. I know 2024 has been a bit of a write-off for Torqhub and, whatever. But we've got, I think we've realised that we're not going to hold ourselves to a schedule. We're not going to put out a video for video's sake. We do want to change how we do produce our content somewhat so that we can give you more regular stuff. However, like sitting to a weekly or a fortnightly schedule, that's not us. We're going to be like one of those, we're going to catch you by surprise. It's just going to be like, boom, there's a fucking video.
Yeah.
Go watch it. Anyway, guys, I already know there's comments. We haven't even finished recording yet, but I already know that there's going to be comments of support from you guys. So I want to say a big thanks to all of our OGs and the people that really do stick by us because, like I say, your words do mean a lot and they do resonate. So thanks a bunch. But let's go to a slightly more lighter note. Let's get to our favourite part of the podcast and the whole reason that we really set this up.
Hello.
Blow a wine, baby. This is where you guys can send us in a voicemail and we have a bit of a yarn about it. How do they send us a voicemail, Curto?
Head to the website. All the W's. Torqhub.com.au.
Do you even have to put the W's in anymore?
I like to say it. Can I say it?
You can if you want.
I said all of them.
All right, good.
There's only 3. What do? You hit down, it's on the right hand side, you'll hit that little, what colour is it?
Red button.
It's a little red button. Click it.
Easy. It says send voicemail. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while, we've got a few. Some of them are a bit funny. I know this first one. He's not going to want me to play it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, do it.
Fuck, if this works, I'll be really upset. I've just dropped my marshmallow in the fireplace. God, I've been trying to send a voicemail for so long.
Well, you did it.
I think
Liam.
I think he was a couple of tins deep there.
Look,
He's probably deep
possibly.
in the trenches.
Yeah.
At that point, he's probably 3 days past his use-by date.
Yeah. The fact that we're on his mind at that point, that's something special right there on
Absolutely,
its own.
isn't it?
So thanks for that one, Liam.
Hey, you worked it out in the end. It did work.
Yeah.
You can be upset, but it did work. It means you know how to do it next time.
Yeah, it's that easy. You can be just basically not even be able to walk and still do it.
That's it. He was probably 1 step forward, 3 steps back, dropped his marshmallow in the fire, and he still got a fucking voicemail.
Yeah, so you've got no excuse, really.
Absolutely. You dogs.
Hey boys, Jacob down from Melbourne. Big fan of the podcast. Keep it going.
Cheers,
Look
Cobb.
forward to it every month. Got a quick scenario for yous. If yous had an unlimited budget and a reasonable amount of time to build a car, what would you build and how would you build it? And would you build it yourself or would you give it to a shop given you had enough time to spend with your family and build said project car? Thanks, boys.
That's an easy one for me. I'm already doing it.
Yeah?
In a sense, yeah. Like, look, there's a couple other things that if it was an unlimited budget with, unlimited, obviously there's some things that I would change, like bits and pieces. But really, if you're talking fuck you money and whatever, then obviously everything would change. But I haven't given myself a budget. I've really stretched myself beyond any kind of budget that I ever would have thought I'd ever be able to do. And building it, like obviously the panel and paint was outsourced, but really building the car and putting it together, that's going to be me and you. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Like there will be other mates that will come around and sort of put their bit in, but really like 85% from this part onwards is going to be me and you. And that, yeah. I wouldn't change. I'm not making any sacrifice. I'm not making any compromises. I'm doing it. Like Kurt said, I sold my ute. I sold a house. Not that the house was worth that much, but I sold a house. Like I'm pooling as much liquid asset as I can together to make this thing the best thing that I could possibly make.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it. Yeah.
That's a hard one. I've got a million different cars that I'd like to do.
And it's like, would you send it?
How could you? I couldn't pick one over the other. The only car I never will get rid of is my car. That's the one. Yeah. So I mean, if I had to pick something, I'd probably. I mean, I want to answer the question properly though as well. I don't want to cop out.
No.
I think I might have mentioned this on previous podcasts. I go through weeks where I just jump on this and then I jump on that. So look. This will be funny. You wouldn't have heard this yet. I joined a group this week that's called fuck. I can't even tell you what the group's called, but it's basically Fords in a Ford. Ford Motors in Fords.
Oh, yeah.
So I've joined that.
Yeah, so it's like Windsor's...
Or whatever,
yeah,
just
like
Fords.
basically
like,
just not an LS
yeah,
swap.
it's American group
Hang on,
mainly. So
I'll hold that thought.
I've been on the Ford stuff a little bit lately, but
Well, we've always sort of had a naughty little thing niggling in the back. Near where my kid goes to daycare, there's like a white EL Fairmont gear. And it's been rotting.
and it's a 5 litre too.
Yeah, and it's been rotting in this driveway for
I don't
God
know
knows
what
how
the
long.
fuck they're doing with that, eh?
They're doing nothing. They turned it the other day. Did you notice that? It's
No, I
facing the
didn't.
other way on the driveway.
I've stopped looking that way. It makes me sad.
Because it was facing down the driveway, now it's facing up the driveway. But we've always had these naughty little thoughts about putting a turbo Windsor in it. And now there's the whole Coyote thing, and we're like, oh, imagine if we could get that and put a Yodi in it.
Or even the Zillas. I love the Zilla as well.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one for me to answer, honestly. But
Because could you do, like, being the kind of person that you are, could you do, like, say what Street Machine did, and you've got the VSU and you send it to MPW
look, yeah,
and
all right,
have
so
them...
I'm going to answer. All right, so I've got a vision now.
Okay.
It's sort of like since working on this Maloo, I've just clicking more and more race car. More and more race car. So what Nick's building, or what a group of us are gonna be building, is very similar to one of the cars that I'd love to do, because
Like
I love Commodores, I love VRVS Utes.
Yeah.
I'd love to do very similar to what Nick's got, but maybe like a full tube chassis. I want to do it all myself. So my dream would be, if I had a way of having enough money that I could just have I want to live out in the middle of nowhere. I want to have like a barn-dominium that my family lives in. I want to have a big fucking workshop off to the side that just has all the equipment in it that you could ever do. And I just want to pay people to come and teach me how to do, this sheet metal thing. I just want to do it all myself.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get much joy out of shipping a car off to get done, I don't think. But in saying that, if I was a millionaire, I'd probably do both.
Yeah.
But a full tube chassis with some sort of whatever the flavour shell would be at the time. I mean, I'm never going to not like a VS Ute. So, like, this time I've already had a Maloo, the same as what Nick had. So I'd probably like to do like a Series 3 SS.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I want full tube chassis, like the whole lot. Steel roof and quarters. I'd want to learn how to do carbon fibre work.
Yep.
All the top rails on the Ute, the tailgate, the doors, the front clip. I want to do it all out of carbon fibre. I want it on its whole, like on a radial.
On its whole hole.
Like on its whole hole. The whole hole's on the ground. The whole lot.
The whole
I don't
thing.
even know what power plant I'd want in it. It'd be a V8 for sure, and
Big
it would
block.
100% have turbos.
Big block.
But if I could do all that and learn that, it would take a long time to do.
Yeah.
I already want more room and more tube bender stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just not there yet. I need a new place. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I think that's honestly probably the biggest.
I found like a 20-acre block not far from us. We should talk.
Yeah, we might. I need to upgrade for sure. I need more room. So yeah, that's what I would do as a full-on race car. That's sort of the flavour.
Well, if we're talking race car, well, yeah.
Well, that's just what I'm in. That's sort of the mood I'm in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because there's only so fast you can go.
And then you tack a fucking license plate on it and drive it anyway.
Yeah.
Street car. You know what I mean? That's literally what drag and drive is now, nearly. Like,
Yeah, you have your VIN car at home,
Yeah.
and then you've got your race car that wears the plates for the VIN car.
yeah. So that'd be pretty cool. Because
Yeah,
I
that
think
would be sick.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
If that answers your question. And yeah, I'd want to do as much as I can myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's cool to utilize people that are good at what they do.
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. No, look, to get the best out of everything, you have to use the best people who have the best equipment, right? But I know you're thinking along the same lines as me. That was like, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, knowledge is power, and
Yeah, like if you've got the time, that's right. A lot of the time, it just makes sense to just give it to someone and they'll do a better job quicker.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Which,
I'm not knocking anyone that pays.
No.
pays
Well,
for it,
we're-
because I like the sort of stuff that gets built from people that don't have the time but have the money is the sort of shit that I aspire to build for myself.
Yeah.
With all the shops that you see, all the different chassis shops and custom sheet metal, just all that stuff you
I
see.
know that's something that you're really keen on, is like the chassis stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chassis stuff. That's
yeah,
the shit that you
especially
really wanna-
after seeing
Yeah.
The pics that I've been getting sent through from Nick. So
Yeah, very.
it's just one of those things. You just got to get out and do it.
Because
But
very long story short is that, we put a cage in the Maloo. It was a cage that was going to suit the build fine for what it was. That was a cage that you and I I helped a little bit. But you and I,
it was a kit that we put in. It was
we
super
put that in
simple.
and it was sweet. That brand new kit's been cut out and the whole car's been sent to a chassis shop, basically. So
Yeah.
because could you have given it a go? Maybe. But to get it
that's
done,
not the sort of project that I have
to
the
get it
time.
done right the first time and get it done in a timely manner.
That's years later, Curto.
That's right.
I've got a lot of learning to do before I get to, as you know, Lauren that's done the work. She spent years and years and years perfecting this stuff.
I was going to say,
it's not. Yeah, I've been welding and fabricating for a long time, but this is different. There's so many different aspects here, and it will be me looking at what she's done and then
reverse.
It's
engineering.
really just having the project to go, the time. And the money to jump into something like that. And this 100% wasn't the case. Yeah,
and we're just super lucky that we've aligned ourselves with some great people who do amazing work, and you know, they were able to get us in a schedule that's sort of suited.
We've picked on this build. It's like it's a best of the best kind of deal, in my opinion.
For sure, and you'll see it all. We won't say any more. We keep.
I'm not even. That's not even like putting any jewels on it.
No,
because I don't do that. Anything, Jeff does that. I don't do that.
No, if anything, it's kind of downplaying it, honestly, because it's something that's bananas. BANANAS. I've said that twice now.
Next one.
What's up, fellas? Alex from UFO Software Engineering. I hope, mates, you're doing right. I would like just to have some question regarding the update and the progress of the VH wagon and also the VH7 that you've been working on. That's been a long time that we didn't see any kind of video so far regarding fabrication from your side, guys. Just to know if everything is all right. I know that you have also your main work in the backside. So, yeah, just if you have small updates to give us, it would be very nice. With that, I wish you a very nice day, evening, morning, whatsoever. And wish you the best all. See ya. Cheers.
I love getting messages from Alex.
Yeah.
They're the best.
How good.
Thanks for another one.
Our good mate from the Netherlands. Yeah, well, look, mate.
If you made it this far, we've sort of answered most of that.
Yeah, we've pretty well touched on that. Like you say, we've got our home lives and our work and whatever, and that's essentially what's buckled me lately. But we're doing good now. We're on a healthy upward trajectory, and the wagon will be a strong point of focus in the very near future. Like I say, we've got boxes and boxes and boxes of parts for the SLE. Some of the stuff that I've actually committed to like small partnerships with as well. So there's companies that are waiting for me to produce a video. But yeah, between my kids being sick and me not being in the right headspace, that's why we're waiting. But there will be more content coming. There will be no shortage of fabrication. I know a lot of you guys absolutely froth the fabrication stuff, and I don't blame you, because Curto does a ripper job at what he does, and the channel wouldn't be half of what it is without it. So we'll be getting there, brother. We promise.
Yeah, I'll fire that welder up again real soon.
Yeah, you have to blow the dust off it.
I've done a little bit, actually. Done a little bit.
Circuit breaker on the back's probably seized shut.
I'll get more rusty than that welder will, I promise you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Actually, we need to hit up Marcus.
Yeah.
We got to hit up Marcus.
We've just got to start doing videos.
Well, I should just buy one and have one here so that you don't have to drag your shit down here when we got to do stuff.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I've got to go to Liam's and put that cage in his ute, and I'm using his Everlast welder, so.
Ooh. Green gang. Green gang.
Yeah.
Right on. On to the next. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
I love you, bro.
I love getting the messages.
Yeah,
so
we love you, bro.
Hey guys, just want to ask, what do you think the car climate's looking like for the next HK GTS and what the generation of like from 95 to 2000, those kids, what their next big dollar cars are going to be like VN, Bellinas and VNSSs or VY Club Sports, or what you really think is the next like big thing to keep an eye out for and invest money in and get period correct parts for and really keep hidden in the shed for later investments.
I think we've been pretty solid on from the start. VRVS is the next KTG. Really, the VH VK thing sort of had a bit of a spike, but now it's plateaued. And obviously,
the Commodore shit's gone crazy.
The market as a whole is starting to decline. But I think the next one that's going to see a sugar rush, if you're looking for one that you're going to make money on, kind of thing. Like if you're looking at something that you want to buy, hold on to, and you're hoping that it's going to make money, I think VRVS is where it's at.
I think my opinion's slightly different. I think most of the cars now, like from that point onwards, they're all, I'm just going to say, they're all 4-door shit boxes for the most part, and there's nothing really special besides maybe, like some of your HSV stuff that's super special, but for the most part, there's nothing super, there's no real, you've got your 2-door, like your coupes and stuff like that are a little bit different to all the other garden variety stuff, but I think we're at the point now, because they're not making new stuff, it's what you like. That generation's probably more acclimated with your 3rd generation Commodore stuff, really.
You reckon? Okay.
I think they'll be cruising around in, VY, V's, that sort of. Or maybe not, actually. I'm thinking they're a little bit younger than what.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be personal preference for what sort of shape you had growing up. And I think the main thing's going to be, if you're talking about just holding its value, it's going to be condition.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you can find, obviously the best one's going to be a rarer model that's low build number or whatever. So it'll be some sort of HSV variant or whatever, and it's going to be in good condition. That's going to be your top tier, and then you're going to sort of work your way down where you'll get to some of the lower spec models. But if you've got something that's like immaculate, that might pique someone's interest.
Yeah.
Unless it's got some sort of racing heritage, or just a real rarity in build number and stuff like that. I think it's just, I don't think there's anything that's going to really stand out. Obviously all the HK Monaros and stuff like that, they raced it bad. There's racing heritage there, and it's the same with sort of your V and Group A's and some of your HDT stuff as well. So that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's heritage there.
I think that a lot of them were, in my opinion, is just it was driven by nostalgia, because sure, the GTSs were worth the big money, but not far behind them were the Premiers, like that, and the Kingswoods, like the real nice Kingswoods. So I think the nostalgia really drove the price of everyone wanted the Monaro, but they couldn't afford the Monaro, so they got the Premier.
That's right. So it just steps down.
Yeah. But it's like that was say for us, the VRVS was sort of the cars that we were getting into as our first car, and then I'm sort of doing it now. I'm looking for a red Mongoose Pro Menace because it's the first BMS bike I paid for with my own money, and I'll pay probably more than that's worth to buy one. Nostalgia, that's what's going to do it. You know what I mean? I think the last ofs, I use that in inverted commas, is going to be the ones that sort of drive a bit of price. So like the VH is the last of the steel bumper. The VT Series 1 is the last of the 5 litre. Things like that. I think those already have an inbuilt sort of caveat to them that they will have some kind of market preference later on, if that makes sense.
It's pretty much anything that's going to have a point of difference to whatever else is around. So it's either going to be sort of build number, condition.
Yeah. Well, condition is everything.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you see something that's just ridiculously immaculate, you're going to go, well, you're not going to find another one like this.
Yeah.
So you'll pay a little bit more, and it might be something you might not have been super interested in, but for that price, you can either get something a little rarer that's in shit condition that you need to restore, or you can get something that's not quite as collectible, but it's in like mint condition.
Look, take it from me. If you need to restore it, don't.
Don't. Yeah, just don't.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a hard one, man, because different people like different things.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think all your SSs and stuff like that, they're all going to... Even, like, things that we never would fucking really care about, like a VY SS or a...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My least favourite of third gen has to be the VX, unless it's a club sport. I don't know
Or
what
VX
it was.
Senator for me, bro.
Yeah. Actually, I might have to take that.
I remember
they made an SV300
when Warby had that SV300? Yeah.
All
I was going to say, Warby had that SV300 and that was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I really...
Look, they
didn't
made
get
good
around to
cars up until VF, so...
Yeah, they did. There was a...
Did you see there's a guy that's going to reproduce the Tirana shells?
What?
He's talking about it.
So he's bought the stamping and that? Or?
Oh, he's 3D scanned it and he's going to make his own
tooling.
hatch, I think.
Ooh.
Where did I see that? Maybe Street Machine? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I should have
right.
researched that. That was just off the top of the dome, but yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I've always, not always, but for years thought
LX
how they have, you can buy a Camaro or a Tri-5 or a fucking, there's so many different ones you can buy from a bare brand new shell in America.
Yeah.
Because obviously they've got the market to support that
And you
sort
can
of
buy
development.
reproduction.
Everything.
You can buy every nut, bolt, and washer. You could build a brand new 69 Camaro today. You know,
That's because they can't do that here because there's like 7 people that would want to do that to a whatever. Still cool
and,
nonetheless.
And of those 7 people, only 2 of them can afford it.
Exactly. Thanks for that one anyway.
Yeah, cheers, James.
James.
That was our Tassie correspondent too.
Yeah.
The one that went down to Tassie. Good on you, Chob. Good on you, Cobb, not Chob.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know, man.
Hey boys, Scotty from Darwin.
Scooter.
Spewing, I missed out on friggin' red SummerNATS this year. Couldn't get down there because I'm moving house, but and I miss out on Power Cruise this weekend with the brother up in Queensland. But hope everything's going well, and cheers for the killer merch because you guys have really been pumping it out and keeping up with the horsepower friggin' addiction. Thanks, boys, and have a good week. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Scotty, the fucking real OG.
Yeah, mate.
He's a real one.
He sure is. Hey, congrats on buying a house too, by the way. He sent us an inbox a while back and was showing us that, he got his own slice of paradise, got his own shed. So
that's the best.
That is the going.
Yeah,
So
you need
your
that.
own
You
own
need
shed.
that.
Yeah. In Darwin, you'd need that fucker air conditioned. Because it gets miserably hot here in summer trying to get work done. I'd only imagine.
I think
what
it's
like
always miserably hot there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
And if it's not fucking hot, it's hot and fucking wet.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I worked in the Northern Territory for a while there. I was doing 2-on-1s in the middle of the Tanami Desert, and I can tell you it is fucking hot.
Yeah, like legitimate.
Yeah, like hot,
Fuck
hot,
that. Yeah,
burny
not-
hot. No, not keen. Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's a shame to miss Red SummerNATS. It looked like it was a pretty good turnout again this year. I got to say that Nigel War tribute HQ. That is
They created their own level there.
That is one hot tamale.
That's what I'm talking about. Where like
Yeah.
he hasn't built all that himself,
No.
but there's a vision there. That's just a way. It lifts everyone up.
Build it
Something to a spot like a lot of us couldn't build that sort of a vehicle, but just to witness it, to see everyone's take on how they approach it, it's just a special car, and a lot of his cars are like that, and a lot of other people's cars are like that too. So
and then to hear them say like, "Oh, it's missing a couple of trims, and it's not finished, and we're not happy with it." It's like, bro, fucking pull your head. No,
yeah, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't realise. At first glance, you wouldn't realise exactly how retarded that thing is.
I think seeing it in person, you would like.
But just look. If you just look at it, and you would not think. You wouldn't think how capable it is.
Yeah,
cars. It's getting hard to build a cool car these days on a modest budget.
Well, that's like 2,500, 3,000 horsepower or something.
Yeah,
pretty war hard.
Yeah,
I'm really.
You wouldn't like it though because it's got a bill of block.
Well, I didn't say
I
that.
know that.
said
I just
doesn't
threw you
belong on
under
a
the
street
bus.
car.
I threw you under the bus
I
there.
said it doesn't belong on a
I've
street
seen
car.
the opportunity and I fucking took it.
Well, they're rare. They're few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing that car at Motivation though, because that
I
will
just
be
want to
there.
have a
And
look.
they reckon that they'll have that one like ready to run for Motivation
No
as
doubt.
well, which that'll be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, g'day guys. Just AO again, calling in from Victoria. Just wanted to pick your brains on your thoughts, given that you're both fans of the VRVS, as am I. Why do you think the prices are a bit all over the shop? Like it seems people are wanting more money for, say, an SS over like the HSV variants. Obviously, condition and all that's a factor, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems that people are asking sort of top dollar for the SSs, but you can sort of seem to buy a clubby cheaper than an SS, which is why I bought mine. Do people not like the HSVs? I don't know, but I personally prefer them. But anyway, keep up the good work, and I'll keep listening. Cheers, mate.
Shout out to AO, formerly of the Never Late podcast. Now he's fired up a new one, A Muso's Tale. He's writing to his music. He's
really?
A bit of a muso, so he's got another potty on the go.
Cool.
But I think that was probably more where his passion was aligned for the content creation thing. So best of luck to him.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes directly against what you just said, doesn't it? Where the build number car is going for cheaper than the SS.
Yeah.
Which,
and I can kind of see it in a way as well. I don't. Now, look, first of all, I ain't throwing no shade at the club sport guys. But to me, I've never once in my life ever, and I'm the biggest, not the biggest, actually I am. I'm the biggest VRVS because out of all the percentage of cars I've owned, I'd say VRVS is probably the highest percentage.
Yes.
I've never once thought, fuck, you know what, I wouldn't mind a nice VS clubby. And now that's not throwing shade. I'm the sort of guy that wants to go, I'll just go straight to the GDS or the Senator.
But at the same time, you also much prefer a VR HSV over a VS HSV because you don't particularly like the spoiler.
Yeah. I kind of, if I had to pick, I'd be picking the VS Senator without the silver inserts.
Oh, yeah.
I want
cherry black.
Oh, cherry black. I don't actually. The color. I mean, I could do a silver mink. I could do a sweet silver mink. There's, the color's not the deal breaker, but the spoiler. I don't like the spoiler.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's not even that I don't like it.
You just prefer the VR.
I just prefer the Senator /VR GDS that sort of look.
Yeah.
And I also, but I wouldn't buy a 4-speed one again.
No.
My Maloo was a auto.
Yeah.
I want. If I'm going to
that
that sort of era HSV, I don't want to fuck with it too much. I want a 6-speed, 215.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
for sure.
kind of. So I don't know what it is though. I don't know why the clubbies, because the clubbies are sweet.
Yeah.
And they look basically identical to the GDS.
Yeah.
Really.
And shout out to Mindy J. If anyone's seen any of his stuff on YouTube, you can check him out. But he got a VR Senator for $19,000, and that was like an auction car that got passed in, and he negotiated, got it, whatever. But he was jumping in like HSV groups and stuff because that was the kind of thing that he was chasing, and he's like, this is the kind of car I want, this is the kind of budget. And obviously everyone in all the HSV club and whatever were like, no, you'll never get one for that, they're worth fucking double that, you're a dreamer, blah blah blah. But, and AO's also saying the same thing, he got a VS clubby for less than he would have picked up an SS for. The bargains are out there.
I wonder if the SS,
I think that comes back down to the nostalgia thing I'm talking about.
It could be because the SS is definitely, I think it started with the VN.
Yeah.
The VN SSs are fucking beautiful. Honestly, I'm a VRVS guy.
All right, so what colour are you getting? Are you getting a
I'll tell you what car I'm not getting. I'm not getting a red one.
You're not getting a red one?
I'm getting a white one. 100%.
Alpine white or Atlas grey?
White. I'm getting the white one, bro. 100%. If I had to, my ultimate VNSS would be a white +8 VNSS.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, easy. We'll find one of them on fucking Gumtree, easy.
There's probably 3 of them down the road.
So the VN, I think the VN started getting a little bit up there in the market, and I think so everyone just shifted to the VRVS because they've got that unique sort of look with the stripe and the.
Yeah.
I prefer the body kit myself. I prefer the look of the SSs more than the HSVs.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that I sort of take issue with, particularly with the utes. So you get a lot of people who say they have a VRSS ute or a VSSS ute. Now, that is a limited build number car. The SS ute, here's a fun fact if you didn't know. The SS ute, the first one was VS Series 3. There were no SS utes prior to that. None. SS Series 3 VS. Now, there were 300 total. 150 black, 150 Phantom Black, and 150 Bermuda Blue.
Was that for each year?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because you're going to get called out on this because
I
someone
probably
will
would.
know. 100%.
I don't think there was for each year, actually. What was there for each year? So there'd be 98, 99. 97, 98,
I was going to
99.
say, didn't they do a 97 as well? I don't know.
Late 97.
Some people
But
are
yeah.
the numbers guys.
Yeah.
We're not the numbers guys.
No.
'Cause we
But
don't care.
so maybe for each year,
Whatever.
that is the caveat. But I thought it was total. I thought it was
could be.
150 Phantom Black, 150 Bermuda Blue. That was it. If you see someone that's advertising a Panther Mica Series 1 VS SS Ute, that ain't it.
Yeah.
Like, they were an S pack. You could buy an S pack. Mine was an S pack. Yours was an S pack. That's what that was. But there was no SSs. So that one would be, because you see VSSS Utes, if people know what they got, they're asking good coin for them because
They are cool. I would
if you
want one
know-
of them over another Maloo now.
if you know, you know.
After with that ute I described before with a full chassis, I don't even like blue, and I want it Bermuda blue with an SS, and look like an SS.
Yeah, it's always been a thing for you. Hey,
I don't know.
You don't like blue cars at all.
And I have to tell people that I don't like blue. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it's just not my colour. But
Are you
Bermuda
vegan
blue-
too? Do you walk in the room and say you're vegan?
Yeah. And I'm not a cyclist.
Hey man,
and I'm not
Kurto.
a fucking EV guy.
Hey, what's up, bro? Kurto. Yeah, don't like blue cars, but I'd
Yeah.
have an SS Ute.
Yeah. Bermuda though, I fuck with it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Where were we going with that? Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird one.
It is
Like
a
you
weird.
said,
It's a weird anomaly.
I'm wondering how many clubbies they really actually did make.
There were a fair few VS clubbies, I'm pretty sure, which maybe that does water it down. But
Not as many as the SSs though.
No, you wouldn't think so.
But that sort of kills my point with the build numbers.
But
and
maybe
stuff like that.
maybe does that come back to the comment that we're saying about condition? Like maybe most of the VS clubbies clapped, and there's still
I know
some
the body
SSs.
kits are hard to like that
Yeah.
particular. The SS stuffs just doesn't seem to be as prone because it's just lip. It's just a lip kit, whereas the
Bumpers.
the side skirts in particular are bad on the HSV stuff. The Australian climate isn't kind to that particular plastic.
Not only that, but I mean, at some point these cars were worth fuck all, and they got taken down gravel tracks,
Yeah.
and they got bumped up.
But our
curbs
roads are
and-
dog shit, and
Yeah.
the cars, there's a myriad of things there.
Yeah.
It is a weird one though. I just think maybe, like I said, I'm using myself as an example. I've never thought once that I want a club sport. I think people, if they go into that, they want
GDS.
Yeah, they wanted to get a bit more of a distinction because essentially, what's the difference between an SS and a club sport?
Yeah.
What is it?
Or 20 kilowatt.
Not even like
What?
That's
Or
negligible.
you get the HSVI.
I was going to say Mick had a HSV enhanced.
Yeah. And what was it?
Blue.
Headers and a
Or whatever.
intake
It's
sensor.
just a fucking knock sensor or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it's just in the chip.
Cop chip, bruh.
So it just depends what you like the look of. And me personally, I prefer the SS look, and so maybe others prefer that too.
But then, I mean, what's the big difference in the look between a clubby and a GDS? But I guess
It's
then
not
you're
the
not,
GDS.
you're
You
not-
got the 215. You've
Yeah.
got the dev seats.
Yeah.
So they're two big distinctions, right?
I
there.
do miss my Devonish seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. So if you're looking at a Senator, would it have to be a 215
Yes.
Senator? You wouldn't buy a 185?
No.
I probably
Because
would
I'm not
rather.
buying a 4-speed and I'm not buying a 5-litre.
Yeah, that's right.
I want a I
6-speed.
want a 215 and a 6-speed.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not even a manual guy anymore.
Yeah.
But I just want that. I just want that distinction
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's essentially the same car as a VR executive. Otherwise, you know, yeah,
Basically,
you've got a chip. It's the same vehicle.
Wasn't it a thing that they literally just grabbed a
the-
Bellina? They grabbed a Bellina off the production line and then they did the thing with it?
with the Senators. I think it was a Bellina. I think it might have even been a Calais.
I thought, yeah, maybe.
I think it was a Calais, and the GDSs used the executives as the base model, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, once again, I don't know.
Commodore Nut, where are you?
Oh, he'll know for sure.
We're still searching for him. Commodore Nut, get in our DMs or something. We'll come to you. We'll bring one of these. You can wear a mask if you want. Put a ski mask on him.
So yeah, I don't know if we answered that question in the end, but
No.
it's an interesting observation nonetheless.
Yeah.
I think even cars that you don't really like the look of now, if you see them in good nick with a nice stance and a nice set of wheels or whatever, like you can appreciate it now. Like I said, I've said it before. I used to hate like I still don't like XFs really, but XEs, and I fucking hated those things.
You froth
now
an XE.
I see an XE. It don't even have to be great, but if it's got a fat set of welds on it.
And if it's a red ESP, just behave yourself.
I don't even care if you put a barrier in it. I'll still like it. You know?
Yeah.
I prefer to have had a Windsor in it though. But anyway.
Yeah. Put a Yodi in one.
Yeah, nah, it's Zilla. I'm a Zilla guy.
You're a Zilla guy?
Yeah, I'm not maxing out a Zilla to the point where I need the Yodi platform. I just like push rods, man. I don't really like the overhead cam stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But I just feel like that the aftermarket support and everything's just far stronger for the Yodi.
Yeah, but I think that's probably true. But for what I would ever want to do with one, I'm not trying to push it to the point where, like, obviously we use Cletus as our benchmark for what he did. He obviously wore that platform out fucking quick, smart.
Yeah.
Where he was at and how fast he was going, for what I would want to do or something, that'd be more than enough.
Yeah.
And I'd be quite happy with the more power under the pedal.
Did you see there was someone, they're doing like a 540 cube and a Godzilla stroker?
Yeah, that was Ben from AFI University.
Ben Schrader, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
There's a lot of cubic inches there. That'd be nice under the pedal, man.
Oh yeah, 540 odd, like small.
That'd be a sweet platform to keep naturally aspirated.
Yeah.
Have it in.
And it's still considered a small block V8. You know, like it's
plenty of technology there. I like it. I reckon it's great.
I think there's some hurdles to overcome though with it, but I mean,
sometimes you just don't need to make 2,000 horsepower.
Eh?
Yeah. It's look. Just saying it,
bruh.
Yeah.
On that note, on that bombshell. Also, Jeremy, Richard, and James finished up.
Did they?
Yep. The Golden Tree, I think it was 26 or 27 years of working together. They've done their final. Obviously, the Amazon contract's finished or whatever, and they've finished the Grand Tour, and that's it. They're done. Donezo.
They're old as shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be hard work too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look. But for people of our generation, we grew up with that. So it's a sad thing. But better to
all
have
good
loved
things
and
come to
lost.
an end, don't they?
That's right, mate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, they've done a great job of bringing our sort of passion to everyone's television.
Yeah, for sure. Torqhub.com.au, guys, if you'd like to send us a voicemail, pick yourself up some merch, or you can head to our socials, drop us a DM, leave us a comment, share this with your friends, do all the things. Pick yourself up a shirt or a hat or a hoodie or some stickers or some socks.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys, asking questions. There was a guy that messaged me about an alternator inquiry, and we couldn't get back to you because something's fucked up on your side.
Yeah, we tried messaging you multiple avenues, wouldn't let us.
Yeah,
so
sorry, bruh.
You can send us an email as well if you want, guys. Torqhub@gmail.com.
We do get questions from time to time.
Yep.
Happy to answer them.
That's right. We don't have much
to our
knowledge.
to best of our ability.
Yeah, we don't have that much knowledge, but what we have, we're happy to share.
That's it. That's enough, eh? Thanks so much for listening, guys. You've already heard where to get the merch from. We'll see you on the next one, and we'll see you on a video really soon, for sure.
Bye.